Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Saad Abdul Kareem and I will be your business studies teacher. Since this is the first time you are taking business studies, so let's understand what business studies is. Business studies is all about business, economics, and accounting. Because we prepare you to run the business, to manage the business, and to direct the business. Now let's understand what are the contents of the business so that you are going to have an idea what you are going to study for the rest of the 3 years. In the first section, we are going to study business activities. What are the business activities? What are the classifications? And what are the different forms of the business organizations like the sole trader, partnership, and limited companies. Then you are going to learn about people, that why people are important in any organization or business, how you are going to motivate them, because we don't teach you to work for somebody, we teach you so that you are going to run a business. In addition, you are going to learn the importance of the marketing, and this is one of the reasons you are going to have 7 chapters that are going to emphasize on the marketing. Not only that, you are also going to learn about the accounting, importance of accounting, and also the role of the government. So inshallah, we are going to continue learning about business, and inshallah I'll see you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Business Studies with Saad Abdul Kareem. Today we are going to study types and classification of business. Let's understand what business means. A business by definition is a legally recognized entity which is designed to provide goods and services by making use of the resources available. So mind you, it's not only about the goods, it's about the services as well. Let's understand some of the basic concepts. Economic problem is the result of the existence of unlimited wants and limited resources to fulfill those wants. This is also known as scarcity. Scarcity is when the economy does not have sufficient resources to fulfill the unlimited needs and wants. Resources are going to be scarce, especially when we are going to discuss the factors of production. If resources would not be scarce, then everybody would be rich. Everybody would be producing goods and services, and in return, get wealthy. But this is not the case. We have in our society, some are rich, some are poor, because entrepreneurs, they combine the resources and they produce goods and services. In return, they get the profit and they satisfy not only their needs but also their wants. Now, what is need? A need is a good or service which is essential for living, like food, shelter, and clothing. On the other hand, if we are going to see a want as a good or service which people would like to have but which is not essential for living, like a branded perfume or a iPhone, wants are unlimited as we know about it. There is an endless list of the wants that we want this, we want that, and so on. Now let's understand what are factors of production. So factors of production are the resources needed to provide goods or services. There are 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. When we speak in terms of the land, it covers all the natural resources, whether it is under the land or above the land or even under the sea, that comes under the category of the land. So when we speak in terms of the land, especially under the land, it's going to be all the minerals like iron ore, oil, etc. And above the land, all the agriculture land or agriculture activity come under that category. Similarly, Pakistan is one of the major exporter of seafoods. So it also cover fish, crabs, etc. When we speak in terms of capital, to understand it better, all the human made resources, or in simple terms, man made resources. It covers the finance, machinery, and equipment, or the factory building. Enterprise, it covers the risk taking ability of the person who brings together the other three factors of production. So, enterprise is very important in the concept that entrepreneur is the person who combines all the factors of production, and the enterprise is the business. So when we speak in terms of entrepreneur, let's understand the difference. So, uh, say Michael Dell is an entrepreneur, and Dell Computers is enterprise. Similarly, Steve Jobs is an entrepreneur, and Apple company is an enterprise. In Pakistan, if you take an example, Mia Mancha is an entrepreneur, and Nishat Mills and all the Habib groups, they are enterprise, and so on. Now, one more important concept, division of labor. It is when the production process is split up into different tasks and each worker performs one of these tasks. It is also known as specialization. Now, specialization is one of the really important concept of the business nowadays, because specialization increase the productivity, quality, and reduce the cost as well. Because we have seen everywhere, wherever there is a specialization, whether it's a specialized doctor who is earning more, or it's a specialized production. So there's a plenty of production within a given period of time, as compared to the uh, place where no specialization is done. Most of the work done by one person. Or I give a very simple example. When you used to be in primary school, so there was one teacher teaching different subjects. But when you come to the O levels, so you have all specialized teacher with plenty of experience, and they are specialized in their subject. So that's how we can look into the concept of specialization. Now, what is added value? Added value can also be defined as the difference between a particular product's final selling price and the direct and indirect input used in making that particular product. Or in other words, selling price is the difference between the selling price minus cost of the component. Okay, for example, if you are selling a house, that is going to be 100 lakh, the selling price. How much it is? 100 lakh. And the cost of building that house is 30 lakh. So the difference 100 minus 30 is equal to 70. So 70 is going to be the added value. Now that 70 lakh is not your profit. Why? Because you have expenses as well that you have in minus them. For example, salaries, utility expense like electricity bill, rent, etc. So if we are going to minus all those expenses from the added value, then we are going to get the profit. So that make it understandable that added value is not the profit. Now added value is very important concept in the business. There are other two ways that we can have the added value. Either we can increase the selling price, but the disadvantage is going to be that our customers are going to move to the competitors. Second, that how we can get the added value by reducing the cost of the material or by reducing the quality of the material. And that's what Pakistani do. And this is one of the reasons that initially they have a very good business, the good sales going on. But later on, when they reduce the quality, so what happens is their sales down. So if you really want to have your good reputation, so you want to make sure you never ever reduce your quality for reducing the cost. There are other ways as well. For example, economies of scale, that's what we are going to study later on. Added value is a very vast term. That's what we are going to discuss later on as well. Opportunity cost. This concept is the cost of next alternative foregone. It applies everywhere, whether it's the business, and it's a student, it's a government. So everywhere we have the concept of opportunity cost. Simply speaking, it is the next best alternative foregone. Again, it is the cost of next best alternative foregone. For example, if you have rupees 2000, scarce, limited, because everybody has limited. So if you are having rupees 2000, either you can buy a book or a bag. So that shows the opportunity cost has to do with the choice and you. Now, if you prefer to buy a book, then bag will become your opportunity cost. Or if you buy a bag, then book will become the opportunity cost. So what we understand here, whatever we let it go, that is going to be the opportunity cost. Stages of business activity. Now, primary, what refers to as the land activity we were discussing about above the land, below the land, or undersea activity. So simply speaking, all the natural resources. So this includes all those industries involved in the first stage of the production process. They are at the primary stage of production. This includes the extractive industries, agriculture, and fishing. These industries provide the raw materials that are made into finished goods by manufacturing industries. So simply speaking, all the natural resources come under the category of the primary stages of business activity. Or in other words, all the raw material, that is what we are going to use in the secondary activity for manufacturing, this serves as the primary. So it is very important to have a good hold of the primary activity. That's what we are again going to understand it later. Next is the secondary stage of business activity. In this stage, it includes all those industries involved in the manufacturing the finished goods. So the key word here is manufacturing. They are involved in all manufacturing the finished goods from the raw materials provided by primary producers. It includes textile manufacturers, car industry, steel industry, cell phone industry, you name it, any manufacturing come under this category of secondary. And the consumer good industry in general. So all the durables, non-durables, FMCG goods, fast-moving consumer goods, daily use item, grocery, that what is the man-made is going to be the secondary activity. Third stage is going to be the tertiary. These industries don't produce goods but instead provide services that enable the production of goods by primary and secondary producer to take place more efficiently. And nowadays, this is the most important sector of today's era, especially in the COVID-19 as well. If we are going to look into that, most of the transactions or most of the goods and services passing from the business to the consumer is happening through the e-commerce. And what is e-commerce? Services. What is Food Panda? Services. Again, what is Daraz? Services. TCS, delivery, FedEx, DHL services. So again, tourism, which is not happening nowadays, but still if you are going to look into airlines, IT, schooling, hoteling, movies, anything that we speak in terms of all services banking, so they are come under the category of tertiary. And most of the advanced countries now they are dealing or they are combining their factors of production under the tertiary sector. Why? Because there is a more money. For example, if a bale of cotton is going to be for the rupees 300. Now that bale of cotton is going to move to the, say, Bonanza Industries. Now, under that Bonanza Industry, they are going to make a shirt for that. For example, that's going to be 1,000. And that move to their outlet, say Satarangi, okay, and is going to sell for 3,000 rupees. So where it is 300, now where it is 1000 and tertiary, you are going to have 3000. So if I'm going to minus that 3000 minus 300, 2700 is the value addition. Okay, so that's how you see. Similarly, if you are going to look into that pair of Nike for 10,000 or 12,000, so simply speaking, that and pair of Nike, which is made in Bangladesh, is only cost that 2,000, only 2,000. Okay, so that's how important it is. So we have primary stage, we have secondary stage, and we have the tertiary stage of activity. Economic system. The three major economic questions are what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. A market consists of all those people or firms who wish to exchange a given good or service. Any market for a good or service is therefore made up of all the producers who make and sell that particular product and all those consumers willing and able to buy. Third, a market does not refer to a particular location, any organization or person who wants to buy or sell a particular good or service, whenever in the world they may be, as part of the market for that good or service. So, economic system, we are going to have three major questions: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Now, let's understand we are going to have three major kind of system. First is called the market economic system. And these are the two extreme actually, the market economy system and the planned economy system. And the balance, we are going to have the mixed economic system, which is observed by 99% of the countries in the world. We have around 200 countries in the world. Now, in the market economic system, all firms aim to make a profit, and they do this by moving scarce resources away from producing things people will not buy into the production of goods and services that they will buy. So, actually, moving resources away from the producer from the primary to the secondary, and then when we speak in terms of the tertiary, so that comes under the category of market economic system. Why? Because in the market economic system, firms they get all the profits and they exploit the resources, and consumers are the one that they do get the products, but what at the cost of the society or at the cost of their money. Second, what is produced in the market economy depends therefore on what consumers want and are willing to pay for. Next, we have planned or command economies. What, how, and for whom to produce is decided and planned centrally by the government. There are only 2 or 3 countries left over in the world now that still run under the command economy: Cuba, North Korea, and we used to have that USSR that is split up into different states now. Now, central government has ownership and control of all the resources. They actually decide. If they decide they are only going to be Nokia old model used by the people of their country, so this is it. You don't have a choice. They say only black car are going to be produced and it's going to be 30-year-old model. You don't have a choice. You just have to buy it because you don't have a choice. Firms aim to produce what the government wants, not what they want or not what the market forces want. Because when we speak in terms of market forces, that's actually the demand and supply. Mixed economic system combines government planning with the use of the free market, whereas private sector and public sector both produce a different aims each. A mixed economy attempts to overcome the disadvantage of the market economic system by using government intervention to control, regulate different markets. Now let's understand that mixed economy. This is what happening in Pakistan, this is what happening everywhere. Most of the important sectors are going to be controlled by the government, For example, defense, education, health, utilities, and we have seen that how KE is causing problems for the common man. It wasn't that worse when it was under the ownership of the government. Electricity becomes more expensive. And not only that, it also become more scarce. Whatever they wanted, they because they are the monopolist. So government actually controls so that what the objective of the government is to provide services at low prices and the rest of the goods and services they provide at the market forces, demand and supply. Whatever is going to be demanded more is going to be produced. So, and again, the economic system, we have the planned economy, the market economy, and out of that, we have the mixed economic system. In the next class, inshallah, we are going to study the next topic, which is business enterprise and growth. So, take care of yourself. Inshallah, I'll see you in the next class.